and welcome to Traditional Painting the Digital Way. This is where I use digital painting apps to teach traditional painting techniques. In this video, part 3 of my look at the new brushes in Rebelle, we're going to continue working with the oil painting brushes and see how they compare to Art Rage 6 and Corel Painter. So here I'm going to go ahead and now continue to paint on the snow. And so I want to go ahead and use sort of a round brush or a dab type brush. I guess that's what that one is. But anyway, I wanted to see if I could go ahead and add some highlights to the pine trees in the background. And so I'm looking through some of the different brushes, trying to get kind of an idea of what I would want to do with them. And so I'm adding a little bit of a lighter purple here, and this would be your snow color, but it's not your final snow color. This is going to be sort of the intermediate highlight on your trees. So I'm just kind of dabbing a little bit of some lighter purple, and if I was doing this traditionally, I'd use dioxazine purple and hooker's green and add a lot of white acrylic gesso. And although that these are acrylic painting, although these are oil painting brushes, I'm painting in an acrylic painting style because oil paint takes too long to dry, and so I always use acrylic paintings when I'm doing it traditionally. And so this is what you would do. These are the steps that you would do if you were doing an acrylic painting. And so this all assumes that the bottom layers are dry. And so here I'm dabbing on the middle highlight of the snow on the tree here, but make sure that you don't get rid of all your dark. You want some of the dark to show through because that shows the layer of the tree. And so I would probably use either a fan brush or a flat or a filbert, just something to kind of give a little bit of a dabbing look. But here you want to go ahead and make sure that you follow the same zigzag type of pattern that you did when you made the trees originally. And so I'm just trying to kind of give that look of snow on the trees. And what I wanted to do was add a bunch of old dead pine tree snags, I think is what you would call them, sticking out of the trees because there's going to be some dead pine trees there. And so I wanted a really thin brush. And if you're following along traditionally, you would use a liner brush. And so this is what I'm trying to do here, is get a real thin brush. And when I'm doing this with acrylics, I put lots of water with the acrylic paint. And you can do that with these brushes here. You can add a lot of water, but you probably don't want to add too much because you don't want these to actually run. You just want a real thin line. And so I went ahead and added those pine trees, those old dead pine trees, and then added a little bit of a lighter purple highlight to them to make it look like they have snow on them too. And then they also have a fan brush that you can use for this Rebelle 4. And in here I wanted to make some darker pine trees. So I was trying out the fan brush and seeing what it would do, and it makes a really nice zigzag type of pattern. And I'm adding a darker purple because these trees are closer together, and so you want the color to be more intense and darker as it comes towards the viewer. And so that's what I'm doing, is adding the trees that are going to be closest to the viewer's eye. And I wanted to go ahead and add several different sizes, not just two, but you don't want to keep them all the same size. You want to vary the size, and as they come closer to the viewer and the viewer's eye, the trees are going to be bigger, and so you want to go ahead and make that, and that just puts everything in perspective there. So that's what I'm doing here, is just trying to add the darker trees in the front here and bring it all the way down to the bottom, because that's where the snow is going to drift up at the bottom of the pine trees. So you want to go ahead and bring them all the way down to the bottom of the snow. And then here on the other side, you want to add a few, and you might want the purple to be maybe not quite as dark, but I wanted it to be pretty close to the same. Now I wanted some in the background there, kind of in between the back layer of trees and the ones that are right in the front. So you can use a different layer of purple, a little bit lighter perhaps, to make it get a little bit more depth. But that was too purpley, so I went ahead and went back over it again. But I wasn't too worried about leaving the other purple color there, because that just kind of gives a variation and makes it look like there's snow on the branches and things. So here I've got all my closer trees added. And then you want to go ahead and add the other layer of snow on the trees, just like we did in the back. But this time they're going to be closer, and so I wanted the snow to look bluer and sort of match what's at the bottom of the trees. So I want to go ahead and add that blue looking snow for the intermediate highlight here. And of course you would use the same zigzag shape, and right now I'm using the flat rough brush, which I decided that I liked because it made pretty good trees in the in Rebelle 4, so I was using it because I like the jagged look. And then here you can make the clumps of snow that are going to be piled up along the edge of the road there. And so this is the end of part 3 of my look at the new brushes in Rebelle. And in part 4, I'm going to go ahead and finish out the picture and decide if I like this program the best, or if I like Art Rage 6, and just kind of compare them. So if you're interested in seeing that, hit the subscribe button, and thanks so much for watching. If you have any comments, just leave them in the comments down below if you have any questions or anything. And I will catch you later.